We are 11 days from Infinity War. I might have to go social media dark.
Yes.
There's too much coming out. Hello, cult members. Welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And this is episode, we think, 62.
Sure.
We're going to go with it. We haven't done a long form one in a while, so we'll do.
It's been a couple weeks.
It's been a couple weeks. Our other hobby that we do, we had a big event, and I was running it for 3 days, and so we got home, and I wanted to sleep.
And I went to California
And then
for work.
you went to California for work, and so we're getting back into the groove of things, and we did a Han Solo trailer reaction. We'll talk about that in a little while, but we wanted to get back in the groove of things. So
Yep.
we're gonna have some weird stories and some some other stuff. There's been some stuff that's happened, but we're gonna start with stuff that's kind of important in our house. And I don't know why, because it's Stephen King.
Yes.
It's the It casting for, are they calling it Chapter 2?
I haven't officially heard.
It's this It
I haven't
sequel.
officially heard.
Yeah. So Andy Muccielli, who directed the first one. Muschietti, there we go. Simple names, people. Directed the first one, and he's coming back, and now he's working on the adult cast.
Right.
For the sequel, and the rumor going around.
It's not really a sequel. It's the second
It's
half.
the second half. Okay, we'll call it the It.
Chapter 2.
1.2. No.
No.
Okay. So the other part of It, the adults, is being cast, and as soon as the first one got done, everybody started fan casting.
Yeah.
The movie.
Yeah.
And
apparently they listened.
And apparently they listened. One of the first people that everybody said was Jessica Chastain should play Beverly. She'd be a great choice for Beverly. It would make awesome sense. Jessica Chastain heard about this on the internets, and she's like, I'm 100% down. But then there was nothing until last week.
Right.
And the first person they signed was Jessica Chastain. Now, she's done some stuff with Andy
Muschietti.
In the past, so they have a relationship there. So that makes a lot of sense that they would hire somebody that they know right away.
Right.
And then it came out that they're all but signed. We had 2 more cast members come in. Bill Hader will play Richie,
right?
Who was played by Finn Wolfhard in the first one.
And Bill Hader is the guy from Saturday Night Live that used to do. I don't remember.
I remember the character is, but he could not keep a straight face.
He this all the time, and the flaming guy who did the reviews of the New York nightlife.
Yeah. And he's actually been working on some more dramatic stuff lately.
Okay.
And he's also the Ball. He's also BB-8.
Is he?
He was one of the main puppeteers with
Really?
BB-8 and Force Awakens. Yeah, yeah. That was one of those ones you're like,
All right.
That's part of the reason why BB-8 has such a weird personality, is because Bill Hader's the one running around and trying to drive him and stuff.
All right. Sure.
That's a perfect casting. Perfect casting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you nailed Beverly, you've nailed Richie, and then we're just gonna throw James McAvoy in here. Is gonna play Bill. It's okay. It's perfect casting again, but is James gonna slim down after playing the Beast from Split? Because he's pretty built up.
I mean, I don't know that he has to. I'm trying to think of what Beverly was. Kind of a high-end businesswoman. Richie was a shock jock in L.A. Ben got slimmed down and beefed up, and he was like a rancher. I can't remember what Bill's profession was. He was played by John Boy, the guy. I can't remember what his the guy that played John Boy in the Waltons is
Oh,
who
okay.
played him in
Yeah.
the
And the
TV
TV show.
show.
Okay.
Um,
I,
so
you've got James McAvoy and Jessica Chastain and Bill Hader. Those are
she's
all.
too tall for him.
Well, I don't care. uh, no, that's Julia Roberts. Uh, but there's three A-list actors.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not like they're not gonna be able to carry a movie by themselves. James McAvoy might be able to. Jessica Chastain has, but not
James
like.
McAvoy did in Split.
Well, that's true, but I'm not. I'm talking like blockbuster kind of level, like Dwayne Johnson can, or
I don't know that it is a blockbuster.
I don't. Well, I made a gazillion dollars.
I
So
know, but it was a really low budget movie, and
Yeah.
so I mean, it's a double-edged sword with the other two castings, right? So
you got more than that, don't you? You got
you've
one,
got
two, three.
Mike and Ben, and then the side people, but
Yeah.
that's it for the Losers Club. And so if you cast well-known, better-known people, then it's an all-star cast,
Right.
and that kind of loses some of what the first one had. But then if you cast less known or unknowns, then they
yeah.
get their characters get lost.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know what they're gonna do.
I at this point, I trust in the process. Go get a couple more big name, known name. I won't say big name, but known named people
Yeah.
to be those characters.
And that's what happened in the TV show, right? You had John Ritter and
wasn't Jerry O'Connell in there?
no,
I'm
no,
thinking.
no.
I was thinking of John Ritter.
John Ritter was Richie, and then John Boy was Bill, and the girl, she was in all kinds of
I know who you're talking about. I
TV
can't remember her name.
stuff. Yeah, and so
Can't
they
remember her
were, Stanley. We forgot Stanley. So there's
Stanley.
three.
Yeah. So I want them fucking go for it. It's okay. Let's be honest. The first one, nobody expected it to make $600 or $700 or whatever it ended up making, right?
Yeah, I just don't want them to lose the story and the all-star cast.
That's fair.
Because
That's fair.
It's the Losers Club. It's not the, Bill Denborough story or
Yeah. That's the why you would. I think you want to go with a bunch of known names the rest of the way, because then you're not focusing just on Beverly. You're not just
focusing at this point.
on
Yeah,
Bill
I guess they'll have to.
So
Yeah.
you just go for it and spend the money, do it right, and I'm super excited. We've talked about this before. I'm not a horror guy, but I really looked forward to this because of the way they. It's not really a horror movie to me. It's more of a coming of age story,
Right, with a scary clown.
with a scary monster in it. And so, I'm super looking forward to this. When they announced right after it came out that they were already working on the second one, and Muschietti, I got it right. Okay, was already working on it, even though he wasn't officially signed on to do it. He was already working on it.
Yeah.
And his wife, Barbara Muschietti, was also a producer, and she's also coming back. So they're bringing back everybody else. They're bringing back the kids. They're bringing Bill Skarsgård is coming back.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming back, and they're just going to add these new adult characters in, and
Right.
and
Which
that's
is the
exactly the way you want to do it. If you're not going to do it the way they did the TV show, where they were going back and forth between the two, right? Isn't that how?
Yeah, I think that's how they did it. It's been a little while.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because I'm pretty sure that's how they would go back and forth. Like, that's the book, right? The book is back and forth.
No, the book is the first part is the adults coming back, and then they start to remember
Oh, okay, yeah.
everything, and so then it's like a chapter of. Then it goes
Right,
back and forth, but
right,
for the
right.
beginning, it's all just the adults.
But I'm super excited. I like what they're doing. I like everything. And come on, Jessica Chastain, Bill Hader, and James McAvoy in a movie together. Outside of it being those three in a movie together, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, I want to go see that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and you got the history of it in there. So, while someone was in Northern California for work, I went and saw Pacific Rim Uprising. We'll do a quick little review of this. I enjoyed it, but it's missing some of that magic that I liked from the first one. I thought everybody's performance was okay. I really like John Boyega's character as the younger Petticoat. His son, Idris Elba's son from the first one, is played by John Boyega, and a bunch of the characters from the first one are in the second one. The story makes complete sense. They pick up 10 years later and they move forward. Everything makes sense. I just kept waiting for it to fully grab me, and it just fully didn't grab me.
I was concerned with because the first one was Guillermo, that the second one wouldn't have that feel.
Yeah, I get that, and that's. I won't say I give it. I don't say I give the original one a pass because it's Guillermo, but I give the original a pass because it's Guillermo, and I know all the faults in that first one. I still love it.
Yeah, but it's just it's dark,
Yeah,
and it just it kind of it's Guillermo.
Yeah, I liked it. I will probably buy it on Blu-ray, or I'll probably buy it. We'll go to Zia and it'll be in the
Yeah, but you're not going to rush out the minute
I'm not
going to
rush out and get it. No,
Yeah.
That's just I am, however, going to do that with Black Panther when it comes out on the 15th. But I'm just it was cool. I'm glad I went and saw it again. Movie Pass helped us out with that and going to see it. But it just I want to give it a C. That's just
Yeah.
it was good enough. I wasn't upset that I saw it. I was happy I saw it on a big screen. But well.
All right.
So there's been some drama going on in the world of Stan Lee. Stan Lee is 95, 96 years old.
Holy crap, really?
Yeah. And his wife just died last fall. And there's been a lot of stuff going on, and they were together for 50 years or 60 years or something like that. They were together for their entire lives, madly in love with each other. And so there's been a lot of talk about, how's Stan doing, and he still does cons, but he doesn't do them at the same level that he used to, and he has to sit on a couch. And
Todd, 95 years old,
right?
I mean,
and Todd McFarlane's been going and kind of moderating the panels and kind of helping him along and stuff. And then this video came out that he was at some con, and his assistant was having to tell him, Stanley, like that.
Yeah, when he was signing his name, yeah.
And so, and then this article came out from the Hollywood Reporter, that the main source of that article was an attorney that Stan Lee had fired, essentially. And the article was pretty much saying that his daughter and her friend have been kind of
moving his people out, moving her people in, getting
and doing a lot of stuff of overworking him, and it just the whole article came across very, very poorly for his daughter and her friend, and how they were kind of circling the wagons to get everybody out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was not, and it came out the same day as this video, and so the internet exploded.
Yeah.
Oh my God, people are taking advantage of this old man. It's fine when it's somebody else's grandfather, but you pick on Stan Lee, right?
and the world goes crazy.
And the internet explodes, and everybody started coming out of the woodwork and started going after her and her friend without hearing the whole story. Even Kevin Smith got out on Twitter and said, if you need to come stay at my house, you can come stay at my house.
Yeah.
And so that the following day, Stan Lee posted a video to Facebook and pretty much told everybody, fuck off, I'm fine. And I posted the video to the page. It's up there. It's about 2.5 minutes. He looks in good health. He's 95, but he looks in good health, and he is fully aware of what's going on. And you can also see how upset he is.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was being told what to say. There is somebody behind the camera, reminding him, hey, you wanted to say this too, right? And Stan's like, oh, yeah. And
because he's passionate and he's going on a
he's
tirade.
He's upset with everything, and he pretty much just came out and says my relationship with my daughter and her friend, who are helping take care of me and helping me get to all these cons and do all this stuff, is great. We're fine. This attorney I hired for like 3 days and then fired him because he wasn't the right attorney for me, and so there's just this giant scandal going on. And there was also a rumor going around that they stole some of his blood and were using it at part of the printing ink of the new Black Panther series.
What?
And, like,
oh
all
my
this
God.
stuff is going on. Listen,
they're cloning Stan Lee's.
Yeah. If you buy this this new issue of Black Panther, you'll get a little piece of Stan Lee. I just
no, people aren't doing that.
No,
I wouldn't have believed that one.
I didn't believe that one either. But I just it's bull, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm still concerned because they could easily have made him make that, but he's an adult, and if that's what happens, there's nothing the rest of the world's gonna do about it. I did hear, though, from, I don't remember who it was, said, I've been to Kevin Smith's house. If you get the chance to go stay with Kevin Smith, you take it.
You stay at Kevin Smith's house.
Yeah. Apparently it's pretty awesome.
Was that John Schnapp that said that?
Was it? I don't remember.
It might have been John Schnapp.
I just remember
that. It was just like, oh, okay, yeah. I want to stay at we'll get to Kevin Smith in a minute. But 196-inch TV.
This far from his bed.
Far from the bed. Giant porn.
Ew. No.
But I just, with everything that's going on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the resurgence of comic book geek culture, and you had somebody who pretty much was the torchbearer for a really, really long time with all of this. John Schnapp was kind of saying, before like everything else had come out, but the initial article had come out, John Schnapp was saying, I feel that Marvel Studios and or Warner find out what's right and what's real and what's not real here. Yeah. And you're making so much money off of this guy and Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby's creations. Like, spend, give a private investigator $10,000 to find out what's going on for sure.
Yeah.
And I happen to agree with that, but it looks, I'm not going to say it looks like everything's okay, but it's not, I don't think, as bad as everybody was trying to make it out.
Well, yeah. I mean,
the internet, right?
The internet, is going to blow that shit up. But, it is true. It does happen. We, our daughter deals with the elderly and works in assisted care, and so we kind of hear some of that. People are assholes to old people. They're
to everybody, but especially old people, especially people who can't defend themselves.
Right.
So,
and they're gonna die soon, and I'll get some money from them.
Right. So it's all.
We don't have any money, kids. So when we die, you're out.
You have to pay everything off for us. My plan is to die, give my body to research, and then have all of my kids pay the rest of my bills.
Yeah.
Because I'll be paying my student loans for the next, 85 years.
Student loans you don't have to pay on when you're dead.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay.
I did learn that. So. I'm not feeling well.
Look at how pinkish I am. So we had a whole slew of trailers come out the last couple of weeks. We're not going to go over all of them, but we're going to go through a couple of these because they look interesting, or B, they were a big talking points on the internet.
Right.
We'll talk about the two big ones first. That's Solo.
Right.
I did a trailer reaction last Sunday for it. It's a train job. They're doing a train job. It's a Western. They're doing Han Solo as a Western. It's going to be a big adventure, and Chewie's got a wife.
Yes. Well, we knew that from the Christmas episode.
Right, which is canon now.
Right.
But it looks awesome.
It does. It does look good. I think I might have said this once, but the only thing is, like, why do we have to have a robot again? Why do we have to have an android?
Because they gotta sell toys. Everybody forgets that Star Wars is about selling toys.
But K2SO was perfect, I thought.
Right.
And
And I love BB-8.
and BB-8, yeah. I mean, they were, they're kind of replacements for R2 and
Yeah.
C3PO, even though they're still in. They make their little cameos, but I, I just and this could completely change once we go see the movie. But when I first saw the android in the trailer, I was like, they're shoehorn in a android.
I don't want them to do another K2. I I see this droid as like a bodyguard kind of one, like is like just a mean SOB.
Yeah,
And that's kind of how
maybe.
I see it. I also the first time I saw it was, is this Lobot? Lobot is Lando's like person with the computer in his head,
Oh,
and Bespin and Besbin, right? Besbin, right? Whatever. He's the one he turns on and like starts the commands to take back over the city when Vader's trying to leave with Han Solo.
oh,
And stuff.
okay.
So I was thinking that it was, oh wow, I'm a nerd.
Nerd.
Nerd. But yeah, I thought that was like the original version of him, and so,
Maybe.
but it's a girl voice, so I don't know. I'm just super excited. It's a Western. It looks like a big adventure Western. They pull a train job. That kind of thing is exciting to me.
I'm excited for it because the same reason, because of how I feel about Rogue One. And Last Jedi was a disappointment because there's all these expectations. There's all these movies that came before it, and there's these expectations of where the story's going to go and how it's going to play out. And in Rogue One, it's like, I know they get the plans because
Right.
they go after the Star Destroyer. That's all I know.
Yeah.
So you can tell any story you want, and I'll buy it. I'm
Yeah,
in. So
yeah.
I kind of feel like, I mean, it's the same thing. There is things that are known about Han's, previous life, right? And
right.
what he was and what he did, but the minutia is you can
It could do
tell
yeah.
any story you want.
Yeah, and everybody looks awesome. It looks real. Like even the CGI stuff they're showing with the Star Destroyer in the. I'm thinking it's the Kessel Run with the giant tentacles and stuff like that, and it's like in this giant vortex of clouds or whatever.
Right.
And it looks amazing, and so I'm super excited. Everybody calm down. It is the Millennium Falcon. That's like an escape hatch off the front. Just everybody calm down. Fucking internet. The other big one was Incredibles 2. We just watched the trailer. We've been kind of holding off on watching it. We just watched the trailer. Man, Jack. I want a Jack.
He was in 5 years ago.
15 years ago when they made the
It
first
wasn't
one.
Wasn't that 10 years ago?
It was 15
It was
years
10
ago.
years ago.
Okay, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It
So
was 108 years ago.
He's been like, when are we getting Incredibles 2? We get this piece of trash, but we can't get an Incredibles 2.
Right. We got planes and freaking Cars 3 and whatever. But,
so he's been excited. But yeah, it looked good.
yeah, I like the angle that they're going with Elastigirl as like the new face of superheroes.
Yeah.
Which is kind of important with now what's going on today with the movements and
yeah, but it also plays off the story because he was in the first
right.
one like a superhero on the sly and not telling his wife, and
Right.
she's all like, Psh, I still got my suit.
yeah. It's there's just a bunch of like really cool cues in there, and they really didn't. I mean, they showed the bad guy at the end, but they don't really like show the bad guy, which is always good when they don't screensaver or something like that. I don't know, but I love when they hide the villain. Like this it's in the Incredibles. The story is about the Incredible family and like being a family with superpowers and still trying to be heroes. That's the story. The villain is like, I wouldn't even say he's secondary, but you do need to have that catalyst to make them
right. It's more like a family, how to be a modern family kind of cartoon than they're superheroes.
Yeah. Another big one that we got was The Meg. The Meg is based off of a book. And it's a giant
shark.
It's
Megalodon.
Yes. And apparently the book is awesome. Like I might have to go like download it from Audible or something.
The trailer doesn't know what it wants to be when it grows up.
That's the problem. Yeah.
It starts off and you're like, oh, this looks pretty cool. I think I might be, and then goes off the
Weird
rails.
music choices.
Weird music choices.
I think
Is
if
it
they
a
use,
comedy?
I think
don't
if they
know.
use a different song there, like more of a, like industrial or
Yeah.
like big fanfare or something like that, it
Yeah.
would change the feel of the trailer. I think it looks cool, but I have way more questions now than I did before
Yeah.
because of the music choice and the freaking trailer.
Yeah.
But Jason Statham, I like him. I like all the stuff that he does, even though it's the same note all the time.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Giant shark trying to eat the underwater base, and the poster, the photo that's been going around is the megalodon floating through everybody who are on floating tubes, like multicolored floating tubes.
Right.
So you look at it at first, and you're like, is this a bowl of fruit roll-ups or
Fruity Pebbles
or something?
Fruit Loops.
Fruit Loops, that's
There
what I'm
you
thinking. Fruit Loops, and you're like, no, that's a freaking 800-foot shark. So I'm holding off judgment. I think when the next one comes out, because this was supposed to be like a teaser, so when the next one comes out, I think we'll do a trailer reaction to that
Okay.
with that in the background. Now the really ridiculous. So there was a trailer that came out a couple weeks ago called Upgrade. It's gonna go. I think it's to Netflix.
Netflix is
think
what I thought.
It's a Netflix movie. This guy is paralyzed from the neck down. They do this experiment. They put a chip in his head, and the chip has a voice, and
And the chip's a badass.
and the chip starts kicking ass, and there's a knife scene, and I'm just like,
he has a knife. We have a knife. We have a knife.
We have a knife. Like the concept, I don't care about the execution at this point in time. It's just the concept has my undivided attention.
Yeah.
It's in the near future. You do this, and I was like, oh, that looks so much fun.
Yeah. It started out, and you were kind of like, or at least I was kind of like, really?
Yeah.
Again? This kind of, and then the chip is kind of sarcastic, and then now he's this bad at the one scene where he rips the guy's head into by he rips his jaw off, and we're like, oh damn.
I wasn't expecting that. So yeah, that one's got and it's Netflix, and we have Netflix, so that's definitely gonna be a watch. It makes me feel there's been this line of movies that have come out on Netflix lately. Bright was one, Muted, where these kind of off the wall sci-fi fantasy
carbon
that was a series, but
oh well, yeah,
but these movies that are kind of, they got made and now they're being just they got bought up by Netflix. I love that stuff. I love that sci-fi fantasy kind of weird. 2049 was one of my favorite movies last year, right?
Yeah.
So that kind of that sci-fi weirdness and stuff, and budgets aren't huge, but you still can do dirty, gritty, cool sci-fi, and I just and so they're
and you don't feel like you just spent $30 going to or more going to see it in the movie theater. You're like, oh yeah, I dig this.
If I want something flashy and shiny, I'll go see Marvel.
Right,
and
because a lot of times
too.
that kind of movie comes out in the movie theater, and we wait for it to come out on Redbox anyway.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah. Now we have the Movie Pass, which helps us a lot, but we've been using the Movie Pass to go see like Chappaquiddick or Shape of Water or Three Billboards and stuff like that. And so
movies we might not have even seen. Unless we came across it on HBO.
These in between ones are that's kind of what's going.
Yeah.
The one that came out today was Hotel Artemis. Please raise your hand if you're not in this movie.
Yeah.
Jodie Foster, Dave Bautista, Sterling K. Morgan, Charlie Day,
Jeff Goldblum,
Zachary Quinto, and it's like in the near future, and it's this hotel that's set up as a bad guy's hospital, and you have to have a membership, like a criminal villains kind of hospital.
It's like the hotel in John Wick.
Yes, it's like the Continental, except it's a hospital.
It's the Continental, but it's a hospital.
Yeah,
it's all even the same. You can't kill each other here. You can't kill. You know, it's the same.
I watched the trailer twice today, and I still have no concept what's going on.
We were like halfway in. I was like, "Is that Jodie Foster?"
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. It's coming to the theaters on June 8th, I think is what it was. we have the movie pass. That might be
Oh
that may
yeah,
be happening
yeah,
because
yeah. I think it goes unless it gets horrible reviews, which Jodie Foster isn't going to sign on to anything that's crap.
no,
So
and I like her trying to do something that's really like really out of the realm of what she's been doing lately. She's been directing some like Oscar bait movies
yeah,
and that kind of stuff
yeah,
and that kind of highfalutin movies. You can go back
yeah.
and read all of her about the blockbusters and Marvels are killing movies. Fucking bitch. But not Cameron Diaz. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, but she's been kind of against the big blockbuster movie. This kind of has that could be a big blockbuster movie kind of feel. It's coming out
Yeah,
in the summer, that
yeah,
kind of thing. But it looks fun. It looks cool,
yeah.
and that's
And
what
it's
movies are
Jeff
supposed to be.
Goldblum.
And Jeff Goldblum is the bad guy because Jeff Goldblum is always a win. And then the one that I heard about today, Christian Harloff at Collider has started a new series, and it's called One on One with Christian Harloff. And the first one was with Dan Folger from Fantastic Beast and from Fanboys. And it was a really cool interview with Dan Folger, and they talked about comics and Star Wars and whatever. So this one was with Clancy Brown. Now you're like, who's Clancy Brown? He's the security guard in Shawshank. He's the security guard in Lost. He's the Kraken in Highlander. He's one of the voice actors for SpongeBob. He did stuff for Clone Wars and Rebels. You know who Clancy Brown is.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys you're like, oh, that guy's awesome. I see him in everything. And so he part of his thing that they were doing was promoting this movie called SuperCon. And con as in like Comic-Con.
Right.
And the trailer is essentially this we're gonna pull a heist at a Comic-Con because this big time star gets $75 for a signature, and so all the money goes into this cash register.
Right.
And so so a bunch of the other actors, like the C, D, E list actors, are like, we're tired of getting pushed around by this guy, so we're gonna go rob the con and take this guy's money and share it with all the actors and all the fans.
It's like Super Troopers, but it's heist job at a convention at a Comic-Con.
Super Troopers meets Galaxy Quest meets Ocean's 11.
Yes, heavy on the Super Troopers.
Yeah, and
there's a lot of ball punching.
There's a lot of ball punching and really stupid costumes. And there's a big poop joke at the end, which is actually I don't like poop joke. I don't like poop humor. It's just not my thing. I don't think farts are funny, but that was a funny. Like I laughed out loud the first time I saw that. It was kind of a good visual gag. They're streaming it, and they didn't say where it was going to be streaming, but I mean we love cons, and we love heist movies. It's like
well, if it's streaming, we'll probably watch it.
Yeah.
If it was at the movie theater, I'd be like,
well, I'll have to find out where it's going to be streaming.
Yeah.
You know, if it's iTunes or we can get it from Amazon or something like that, then it might be worth it to spend the $3 or $4 or whatever it is to stream it for the rental. But
it's a movie, right? It's not a series.
It's a movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so the reason I wanted to bring it up because of promoting the interview that Christian did, but Clancy was talking about why he took this job because he is a working like super working actor. Like I said, he's always in something, right?
Yeah.
And so he was at Cannes Film Festival and was a judge for the festival that last year.
Wow.
And so he sat in a dark room and judged all these European art house movies.
Yeah.
Which are very well done, very well performed, directed, and beautiful, but tend to be very heavy to watch.
Yeah.
Very difficult to watch, very hard subject matter, very dark stuff. And so he was at a break, and his agent called him and says, "Hey, I'm going to send you the script. Tell me what you think." And it was the script for SuperCon. And so during the breaks, he was reading the script in between all the movies, and he got done, and he called his agent and says, "Yes, I want to do this." He says, "Okay, as soon as you're done judging, get on a plane, fly from Cannes to LA. They're filming next week."
Oh my gosh.
So like you have to go, like, as soon as you're done, you have to go.
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay, cool, I'm down, because he wanted something, because he'd been watching all this super heavy stuff, and then this silly,
Yeah.
punch people in the dicks comedy shows up. He's like, yes, I'm in. So there's a whole bunch of other trailers that came out, but those are the ones that have caught our attention. And then we heard today that Deadpool 2
tickets go on sale
on
Thursday.
Thursday. So we'll be having a discussion about when we want to go see that,
right?
And how we want to see it. So two other things we're going to talk about tonight before we get out of here. We attended 2 separate events in the last
2 weeks.
days.
Yeah, 10
days. The first one was on April 4th at the Mesa Arts Center here in Mesa, Arizona. My birthday's on the 5th, April 4th. Kevin Smith was very nice of him to come out for my birthday.
It was. He almost didn't.
He almost didn't.
He almost died instead.
Yeah. And he, small heart attack. If you haven't heard the news, that Kevin Smith had a heart attack, 100% blockage. They went in, opened it up.
Widowmaker.
Now he's like, I was watching, it was a week old, Fat Man versus Fat Man on Batman.
On Batman.
He was down 30 pounds,
Yeah.
and that was filmed a week and a half ago. It
Yeah.
was actually filmed before he left to come to Phoenix. So
yeah, I think he said 30 pounds when he was here.
yeah, but he came at the Mesa Arts Center. We had a row of 2 seats. There was 2 of us in the row, and that was it.
It was perfect.
Perfect. We went and had some really bad pizza, and then came and watched him talk for 2 hours.
Yes.
And tell stories.
Yes, it was
And
awesome.
It was everything that you ever thought it would be.
Yep. If you get the opportunity, go see him. It was totally. And tickets weren't. I mean, they were like $30 a seat, and then you got the charges or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, it ended up being maybe $70 for the 2 of us to go see Kevin Smith, and it was hysterical.
Yeah.
I mean, we both got done and we're like, our faces hurt and we're exhausted.
Yeah.
And
yeah. He'd spent probably good half an hour to 40 minutes talking about the whole heart attack thing.
Yeah, that was the first thing.
And that was the first thing he talked about. And he just spent, and he just like this is the story, and this is how it happened.
Yeah.
And he was really really funny about it and really engaging with it and stuff. And then he told a story about why he loves Phoenix so much, and his relationship with his wife, and them going to Washington and everything. It was a really funny, engaging story. He's told 2 stories. He's an hour plus in.
Yeah.
And he pauses and he says, "Okay, so we're gonna do a round of applause. Tell me what you want to do next. We can do a Q&A, or you can have me, spend more time up here talking." And he says, "Okay, if you want to do a Q&A," and everybody's like, "Yay!" And then if you want to tell stories, it's like, "Ah!" And the 2 of us she leans over loud enough for the row in front of us to hear. We've seen too many Q&As. Just tell stories.
Yes. We've been to the con. We know how Q&A goes. How do you like being Silent Bob? How is that a question? It's not a question.
So we spent a bunch of time talking about doing Flash and doing Supergirl and the directing part and a lot of that stuff and kind of a behind the scenes, the difference between filming and doing stuff as a movie director and editor
versus
and writer and stuff like that. And
special guest TV director, which basically consisted of him going out every night and getting burgers at A&W across the street for the cast, and he got 20 the first night, and
it wasn't
enough. So then he got 40 the next night, and it still wasn't enough. So then he got 70 and French fries and onion rings and drinks and everything, and was best buds with the people that worked at A&W at 2:00 in the morning when he's in there buying burgers.
It was just kind of a I love the behind the scenes stuff of the filming process, right? And so when he was telling that story, I'm like, that kind of deflates the whole ambiance of whatever of the.
But I mean, the point was that it was Flash. Was he doing?
Supergirl. I think it was Supergirl.
And the point was that the show basically runs itself because there is a formula, and you will stick to the formula, and you come in. They have various guest directors come in. So he kept leaving the assistant director, the AD, in
Yeah,
charge.
yeah,
He's like, you know what we're doing? I'm gonna go get burgers for everybody,
yeah,
and
yeah.
because there really wasn't anything for him to do.
I love the part of the story he was talking about the first time he went to go do Flash, and they like the first Monday they had like a 7 a.m. phone call with the showrunners and Brianti and everybody and the
Yeah,
writers, and they were all in L.A. and they were up in the everybody was up filming in Vancouver where they
Vancouver.
film, and so they sat down with Kevin and the loudspeaker says, "Okay, I'm ready to go," and they says, "Okay, we're gonna have a tone meeting," and Kevin's like, "What?" He's like, "Well, this scene has this kind of tone, and then page two, page two. Okay, now the tone's gonna be very serious here." And Kevin's like, "I've never been to a tone meeting. It was kind of cool, but
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
like oh, okay, so I understand now. I
And
understand."
because you come in, even though Kevin says he watches this stuff, but you come into an episode that's in the middle of a season nobody's seen yet, and you have to understand that the two main characters are in the middle of a relationship situation, and so they're
Right.
very,
They
this.
killed off a major character of the episode before,
Yeah,
so
and
that
so everybody's
yeah,
depressed, or
yeah,
everybody's super happy or whatever.
yeah,
And then he also explained how the Flash happens.
yeah.
And it's really just the kid. What's his name? Grant
Gustin,
Gunston. He
whatever.
Grant.
Simple names.
Grant. Um, basically he'd walk out and then he'd say his thing or whatever, and then he'd walk off, or and then he'd walk off. So he did this little jump, like a little start, and then doopy doo. He's all, oh,
That's so disappointing.
I wanted to see you zip off.
He doesn't have special powers, Kevin.
No.
No. So, just a whole night. He comes He comes once a year. I would love if he would come to during the Comic-Con time period, but
Yeah,
it's
he
actually
used
really
to do the Kevin a night with Kevin Smith.
he would do Jay and Silent Bob Getting Old, the podcast, and they would do it like stand up live, and they would run the podcast there.
No, they used to do one at Comic Con. I think it was like an evening with Kevin Smith.
Yeah, something like that.
Every year at Comic Con
Yeah.
or whatever. But he doesn't do those anymore.
But it's probably smarter not to do it at con because there's so much other stuff going on at con and stuff. So that was 100% worth it. A lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Bad pizza. The other thing that we did last Friday. I posted the video to all of our social media networks and stuff like that.
And this was good pizza.
And this was good pizza. We drove down to Tucson to watch the movie Trivia Schmodown Free for All 2 with a bunch of other Schmodown fans. And it was the viewing party we had was held at a place called No Anchovies in the center of U of A's campus. I didn't burst into fire.
You didn't.
It was okay.
It was closer.
It was close. It was.
You were smoldering a couple times.
So the we've talked about the Schmodown a bunch in the past, but I'm going to remind people if we haven't talked about it recently. Movie Trivia Schmodown is this show that's run by Collider, and it is a movie trivia contest. They actually they fight for belts, and there's number one contenders, and there's rankings and stuff like that. But it's also kind of run like the WWE. So there's good guys and bad guys, and they come out in costumes, and they have pre-game smack talk, and they have post-match interviews, and there's factions and cliques and clans and all this other different things, and so it's wrestling meets movie trivia. The wrestling kind of part of it, all the good guys and bad guys, that's all pre-scripted and stuff. But the trivia itself is legit. Like depending on who wins or loses, depends on how the story is going to go forward and stuff.
Right.
And it's gotten really big over last year. It got really big, and we watch it. There's a new episode every Tuesday and Friday. We try to watch them pretty consistently on those days, or we get caught up on it. And then they have a few, like they call them pay-per-view events, even though we're not paying for them. And they're big events. They have the Spectacular at the end of the year, Collider Collision, which is a big event. And then the one in the spring is called the Free-For-All. And think of it like Royal Rumble. There's this year there was 48 competitors. They have 5 seats at the table. They fill the first 5 seats. They ask 5 questions. The person with the lowest score is out.
Yep.
Everybody else stays. And if you have more than one person with the same low score, they're out.
Yep.
And so, and they go through until they've gotten through all 48, and they get to the final table. And then whoever has the highest score at the end of that last table of 5 walks out with the champ. Walks out, and they get a number 1 contenders match of any division they want. Singles, tag teams,
or they can give it to somebody.
Or they can give it to somebody, but it is theirs to take.
Yeah.
And so late to the party, Robert and Vanessa and Tim Franco made arrangements for us to do this big viewing party. And there's like 50 or 60 of us on the patio.
Yep.
And we're hooping and hollering, and we're
booing
and we're
yaying and
screaming and yelling out the answers to the trivia questions. Robert and Vanessa were in it. Taylor Robinson was in it. She was standing right in front of us.
Dale
the Dude was in it. The couple from All the Belts were sitting right in front of us. They weren't in it. Well, they were. They're the ones that got attacked by Brianne Chandler when she was dressed up as Buffy.
Oh.
That's who
Okay.
they were. So they were dressed up as vampires, and Brianne came out and stabbed them with a stake and stuff. And so like a bunch of the people that were in the free for all were with us, reacting and watching and having fun with that. We're all having beers and pizza, and it was an hour and a half down there, hour and a half back, so 3 hours of time to spend 4 hours down there watching the competition. Oh, so much worth it. It was so much fun.
It was. It's definitely because we watch it all the time, but we don't watch it in a crowd, right?
Right.
So it was, and there, we're out on the patio, out on the street, and so people would walk up, and we were sitting near to the rail, so we could hear people would walk up, and they're like, "What's going on?" Because we're just being loud, and they're like, "Oh, it's some kind of movie trivia thing," and or these people are weird and walk off or whatever, but all the comments going on behind us was funny too.
Yeah, it's cool. Like what we do, we've got 180 YouTube followers and 3 something on Facebook. And so, but it's the 2 of us talking to a camera, right? So we don't know how interactive everything is.
Yeah.
It's the same thing for them when they're recording these shows. There's maybe 15 or 20 people in attendance with crew and everybody else that's going on and stuff, but they have no idea how much this affects people, how much fun they're having with it and everything. And so Christian Harloff, who's the main guy who runs it, told people like videotape yourself watching this and all the in the entrances and stuff like that. And so for like the last 3 days, that's all it's been all over Twitter and Facebook and like the gifs that like I'm in a gif. I'm not the main guy in the gif, but I am in a gif with my little GoPro stick, booing. And we recorded our trip down and the trip home, and we recorded a bunch of the entrances, and we didn't catch all of it because sometimes you have to go pee over 4 hours and when you've been drinking beers and but it just it was cool to be able to be with a group of people who know all the good guys, know all the bad guys, know when to boo, know when to start chanting. Like it was just it's like we're into sports. It's like a communal sports event. But it's just movie trivia, right? And so it was just like, this is awesome.
It's the difference of watching the game on your couch or going to the stadium and watching it with everybody else. Yeah.
So I would highly suggest go to YouTube, put in free the number 4 all the number 2 Schmodown, and it'll pop right up. There's 2 parts. You don't necessarily have to watch the whole season to be caught up on what's going on, at least with the story points or whatever.
And you'll get who the good guys and the bad guys are because there's a small crowd there, and they're all booing and yaying and
so you'll get the point and stuff like that. But it's definitely worth the watch, and I think at some point in time we need to have a discussion about doing some kind of videotaping us doing maybe just the Tuesday matches or something. I don't know. We'll have to figure out something. There's just too much cool stuff going on with the Schmodown not to be doing something more than what we just do other than talk about it every once in a while on the show. So I don't know. Well, it's a work in progress. No. Okay. All right. We'll figure out something. Another event that I'm going to on Saturday. I will be at ZapCon in Mesa, Arizona. It's a giant arcade of con. You pay $30, and there's a convention room full of pinball games and upright arcade games, and you just go and play until you need to eat lunch, which is what I did last year. And you just walk around, and whenever games open, you just sit there and play, and they have everything. Everything. And then they have tournaments, all kinds of tournaments going on. I saw the Tetris tournament is on Saturday this year, so maybe.
Oh, yeah, it was on Sunday last
was
year,
on
so he couldn't get into it.
Yeah, but right now I think there's like 5 or 6 of us
Yeah.
meeting up there. So
I'm going to go see A Quiet Place.
because scary movies, we've been over this already. But if you see me at ZapCon, come over, say hi, get a photo, and then tag Pop Culture Cult in it and stuff like that. So
Yep.
That's this week's show. Like I said, another long form. We haven't done one of these in a while, but what do you guys think about the It castings? Are you interested in any of the trailers we talked about? Have you seen Pacific Rim? And if you get the chance, go see Kevin Smith and watch the Schmodown. But let us know what you're watching, what you're getting into right now. Leave us a comment on this video. Like this video while you're here too. And hit the subscribe button. It's somewhere up here. It turns from red to gray. It's like magic. And then hit the bell too, so you can get notifications whenever we're uploading new stuff.
Yep.
We're on all the social media gen joints, to say what Vanessa would say. Facebook, Pop Culture Cult. Instagram, PopCultureCult1, Twitter, Pop_Cult1. Follow us on all those social media platforms, and we're in the Stardust app. Download it for free. You get the chance to react to everything you're watching, and follow us first. I think that's it for this week.
Yep.
More stuff to come, and until next time, good night now.